everybody, and welcome back to what was once the Wealth Advisory's top stocks for the month, but is now the Crow's Nest and the Wealth Advisory's top stocks for the month. I'm not quite sure how the Crow's Nest ended up top, but that's okay. We'll let them have it. I'm told it's for the aesthetic appeal of the pyramidal shape, which I think is a wealth shape.
Yes,
yeah,
it is. And it has no negative connotations whatsoever.
So there you go, guys. The Crow's Nest and the Wealth Advisory. We saved the best for last. Top 10. We're on to July 2025. The second half of the year, the first half was pretty exciting, right?
It's gone by so fast.
Yeah, it really has. And like everything happened really fast in it too. So we came into the year, with the S&P 500 hitting all-time highs, and then we went into a bear market in the S&P 500 where it dropped more than 20% from its peak to its trough. And we've completely recovered all of those losses since then, and the S&P 500 is once again pushing up on all-time highs. It's wow, exciting. I hope everybody took advantage of the opportunity, bought the dip. We always try and push the idea, the fact really, that that's how you beat the market, is by buying the market when it's down, not by just buying it when it's up. We like people to schedule their contributions and dollar cost average and do all that stuff. But when you see an opportunity that's just screaming opportunity, you have to take it. And I really hope everybody did take advantage of that opportunity and is not just completely recovered to where they were at the start of the year, but looking better than they were at the start of the year. And we hope to continue to help you guys look better than you were at the start of the year with this presentation that we started several years ago. What we're going to do is we run through our top 5 Wealth Advisory picks and our top 5 Crow's Nest picks for the coming month. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, this is a service that we offer to our paid subscribers. We don't feel like it would be fair to give away something for free that we charge people for access to. So we're going to cut things off after the first 4 stocks here on YouTube. But if you'd like to subscribe and join us, you get a lot more than just the full top 10. You'll get monthly issues. You'll get access to our reports, to our database, to our model portfolio. And we'll put a discounted link to join either the Wealth Advisory or the Crow's Nest. Or maybe the better decision is to join both. Because we're up here for a reason. And Jason's running the Crow's Nest now for a reason. And so we'll put a discounted or a link to a discounted membership in the description below the video. We highly encourage you to join. It's worth far more than what you'll pay. But if you choose not to join us, as I say every month, we won't hold it against you. We'll keep putting these videos out as long as you want to watch them. Just give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to make sure you get notified of when we post more content, and drop a comment if you feel inspired to do so. We had some people feel inspired to do so last month, and I really appreciate the positivity. Had a bunch of folks thanking us for the content. We love putting it out, and we love it even more knowing that you guys love watching it. And I wanted to especially thank Cedric. Jason was very entertained by your comment. We're all very happy that he's taken the helm at the Crow's Nest and is turning the ship around for everyone. So thanks for putting that out and the vote of confidence there, Cedric. We're all happy about that. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the picks. We had a pretty good month last month. Jason had a 70% gainer. Yeah, not bad there. Crazy. Not bad there. I had a 20% winner, but it doesn't look that great compared to 70%, but we'll take it. But yeah, we had a great month. Markets had a pretty good month too. We're basically we're beating the market, but the markets were up too. So pretty much anywhere you invested, you would have done well. If you had invested in our top stocks, you would have done even better. And we think we've got a really good list for you this month. Jason is leaning into his specialty, and I'm sort of leaning into mine, which is defense and income, So get ready for a lot of that. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get this started with my first pick of the month, my number 5 stock, which you guys will be familiar with. It hasn't performed great over the past couple of months for me. It's actually been one of my laggards. Fortunately, the other stocks have pulled our average up. It's Prairie Operating Company. I'm keeping it in as my bottom pick this month, despite that poor performance in June. Ticker symbol here is PROP. Prop. And the thing is the company just continues to execute flawlessly on its business plan. It's picking up new and favorable analyst coverage. It's got access to hundreds of millions of dollars in capital to keep expanding without diluting shareholders by, issuing new shares to raise money. It's got positive operational cash flows. It currently supports an average price target above $15 a share. That's like a 500% higher than where it's trading. Not 500, around 300 to 400% higher than where it's trading right now. Yet the market is literally treating this company like it's already dead. But that is far from the case, folks. It's growing faster than nearly any other company in the industry, but it's trading at a huge discount to that industry. And that's a disconnect that I really think is eventually going to get connected. And I want everyone to profit from it when it does. So I'm going to keep Prairie Operating Company in as one of my top picks this month. Like I said, when this market corrects, it's going to correct big, and Prairie's one of those stocks that could really soar when it does. They're doing everything right. They're getting the good coverage. They've got high price targets. They're cash flow positive in their operations. This is a great stock. It's just not being recognized by the market. And when the market does recognize it, I think it's really going to take off. So I want everybody involved. Prairie Operating Company as my number 5 pick. And let's pass this over to Captain Jason.
Here we go.
All right.
Well, like Dub said, alluded to, this is going to be defense heavy for old J Money here. And I think the reason is you look at what's transpired over the past few weeks, over the past month, and I don't know how anybody could deny that we've kind of entered a new paradigm with respect to global conflict, with the way Israel expanded its war into Iran, the way the United States was bombing Iranian nuclear facilities. Last week we also had a NATO summit where all the key members outside of Spain opted to start spending more on defense, 3.5% of GDP at least, up from the previous 2% target, as much as 5% of GDP with extra spending. So they're doing this, obviously, partly because Donald Trump did a lot of browbeating to get them to pony up more money. But in truth, Europe in particular has been raising defense spending for the past 10 years, ever since Russia invaded Ukraine the first time and seized Crimea. That defense spending has been going up and up and up, and it's going to continue to go up. And Europe, despite, again, what the conflict we've seen in the Middle East, Europe is going to drive a lot of that spending, and it's driving a lot of the increase. In addition to the $1 trillion U.S. defense budget that it's on its way, we're hitting about $1 trillion in defense spending in Europe, and that's where a company like RTX is going to come in. We talk about them as a major manufacturer of missiles like the Stinger. They co-produce the Javelin with Lockheed Martin. They also make the Patriot missile defense system, which is probably the most important surface-to-air missile defense system on the planet. Many, many nations use it. It has a huge amount of demand. In fact, there's a backlog of about 1,000 units that RTX is racing to try to produce just to meet demand in Europe. They're exploring options to partner with European firms to manufacture these missiles there and other missiles there. They're going to try to manufacture Stingers with Diehl Defense in Germany, because that is where, right now, again, with that European demand ramping up, Europe doesn't have the same production capacity, the same facilities that America has with respect to defense manufacturing. And in truth, the American industrial base for defense isn't even that robust right now. We're still in the process of rebuilding that after years and decades even of post-Cold War decline. So we have a lot of work to do. Europe has even more work to do in order to meet demand for the growing defense budget. And again, globally, over $2.7 trillion spent on defense last year. That's the highest amount it's ever been, a 9.5% increase from the year prior. That's the biggest increase since 1988. You're going to get this year probably closer, if not exceed, $3 trillion in global defense spending this year, and it's going to continue to rise. So we're starting off with RTX here. Like I said, they make a lot of munitions, and that's going to be extremely important, as well as other defense systems. Back to you.
All right. No, definitely a good one. I like how you point out the munitions too, because everybody, you hear about all the high tech and the new tech and stuff like that, but really like what the Ukraine Russia conflict has shown us is that, munitions are what, it's artillery shells.
That's it. Yeah.
Are what win wars.
You can never have enough bullets in a war.
Nope.
I mean, they always need more.
Yep, definitely. RTX, a great way to play that. All right, coming up next, this is one I probably should have kept in last month, or put in last month, as it were. It's Cameco Corporation, ticker symbol CCJ. That's also my niece's initials. I always thought that was cute. Like I said, it looks like I was wrong last month. I thought that the nuclear stocks had run up way too hard and that they were going to pull back, but they didn't. They just kept soaring all the way through June. Helped Jason lock in a 70% gain on his nuclear power-related pick last month. So since the momentum is clearly there, and since I can't pick the other one because it's one of Jason's starting 5, and he could pick it this month as well, I'm going with Cameco, and we're going to play this renewed interest in nuclear power powering the AI future. I'm still going to offer the caveat that I offer every time I talk about this, that nuclear power takes years, sometimes decades to come online. The U.S.'s newest nuclear reactor, the Vogtle expansion in Georgia, what took 14 years and cost like $80 billion to build. I might be wrong on the $80 billion. It might have only been $40 billion, but it was over budget by a lot. It took more than a decade to build, and that's a traditional one. The small modular reactors are technically still being tested and developed. Like, they don't exist yet. So we're definitely still a long way away from that, and we're probably going to see some volatility in this trade. This is a very long-term play, but it's looking like we're going to see some wild rallies over that long term, so we may as well take advantage of that, and we're going to try and do that with Cameco this month. All right, and now let's get this back to Jason for our last pick before we shut this down for the YouTubers.
Yep, let's do it.
Another really good one.
Sticking with defense here, General Dynamics.
Big defense,
Easy.
too. I like them. They make a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We're talking about munitions and that kind of stuff. General Dynamics, they make bullets. They make mortar shells. They make rockets, artillery. They make Stryker combat, troop transport vehicles, and the Abrams tank. They just signed a $987 million modification contract for submarine development. And a $621 million for air defense vehicles, and they're actually pretty cool. They're called Sergeant Stout, and they have a 30-millimeter cannon, Hellfire and Stinger missiles, and they basically take out low-altitude threats like helicopters, drones, all that kind of stuff. But again, with General Dynamics, you really do get a very traditional defense contractor here. They work on a lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of legacy platforms like the Abrams tanks. They're working on submarine development, and that's big because in the latest defense budget that's been working its way through Congress, there's a huge emphasis on improving America's Navy and strengthening it and adding more ships to compete with China in the Pacific effectively. So there's going to be a lot of work for GD going forward, just like there is for RTX. Each got their respective fields, and they're doing very well. And you're seeing it with these contracts, these $100+ million contracts that are just coming in like clockwork for these companies. And General Dynamics is just going to keep scoring those.
All I could think of was Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Stout. Yeah, I was like, that's funny.
Yep, that's a great name. That's a great name. I'm
yeah,
sure
I
it's
didn't know that
little truck too.
I didn't know that guy was out there, but you see him. It looks like a Stryker. I think they use like a Stryker chassis, and then they just kind of outfit it for air defense. But they're very mobile. They're very effective.
That's pretty cool. That's really neat. All right, folks, that is our first 4. So let's go ahead and do a little recap before we cut things off for those of you on YouTube. Number 10 for us this month, Prairie Operating Company. Like I said, the company is executing flawlessly. The market is just treating it like it's not. Eventually, the market's going to come around, and when it does, I think this stock's going to shoot a lot higher, so I want everybody involved in it. Next up at number 9.
Yeah, $1 trillion in defense spending for the United States alone. Going to see a similar figure out of Europe, but in all approaching, if not exceeding, $3 trillion in defense spending globally this year. It's going to be a bullish outlook for defense contractors, no doubt.
Definitely, especially big ones like these. Next up, Cameco. Like I said, I was wrong last month. You got to admit when you were wrong, and I was definitely wrong. I thought nuclear stocks were going to pull back, but they are continuing to enjoy enthusiasm from investors. And so since I can't take the other one, I'm taking Cameco this month, and we'll see how that plays out for me.
And then General Dynamics, bullets, mortars, artillery, submarines, tanks, you name it, they make it. Also right there for the tail end for defense spending.
All right, there you go, guys. Honestly, if you don't join us, this is a great list. I think it'll make you some money this month. But if you do decide that you'd like to join us, we would love to have you as a member. We'll drop some links in the description below the video to discounted memberships for both the Crow's Nest and the Wealth Advisory. We'd love to see your names on our list when we send out our next email. But as I always say, and as I've said so far today, we won't hold it against you if you don't join us. Just keep coming back, and we'll keep posting these videos on YouTube. We love your comments. Positive comments are most appreciated, but, you know, the negative ones, I'll respond to those too, potentially negatively, so be ready for that. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining us. We love putting these out for you. We hope you love watching them, and we'll see you next month. And hey, for everybody in the States, happy 4th of July.